We are about to break new ground here on the Kwik stand here at Goodwood Festival of Speed for 2024 and record a podcast for the Kwik Fit British Touring Car Championship. And I have four people with me that are best placed to talk about the BTCC. As we go round, so I'll describe exactly where we are. It's day one of the Goodwood Festival of Speed. We are at low level around the stand on the PA system, so people that are walking past, looking at your racing cars, can hear what we're doing. But the main thing is that this is a podcast, and if you like, a half-term report, because we're exactly halfway through the season, and we've got four people that are best placed to guide us through the next half an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Depends on how well it goes, to be perfectly honest. We're 45 minutes, yeah. Tingram is wondering whether he should have gone for a tinkle before we started recording the podcast. A Tingram tinkle. So let's introduce everybody. We've got Dan Rowbottom, Tom Ingram, Dan Camish, and Mikey Doble. So we've got Robo, we've got Tingram, we've got Dan Cam, and we've got Mikey Doble. Now that says to me, Mikey Doble needs a nickname.
He does.
He doesn't have a nickname, does he?
No. Do you have a nickname?
Pizza Express.
Excuse me?
I don't even eat pizza. I don't even eat pizza, so
yeah,
that would be
Doble,
great.
like off of Dobles.
That's
yeah,
good.
I like that.
Like Dobles.
Domino's.
Pizza Express. Domino's.
Call
Or we
me
could
what
call
you
you the
like.
Papa.
The Papa. Yeah, okay, he's now known
I
as the
like
Papa. Tom Ingram is here for this. He's a very clever man.
Have you
That
just
was
come
Kwik.
up with that, or have you called him
This
pizza
is
before?
No. What you've witnessed is a marketing
Genius.
Genius.
At work.
that happened at
It is
work.
genius at work.
The
So
thing is with
Papa.
nicknames
The
is they
Papa.
can't be forced. Like they just have to come through an event, or they just have to happen naturally.
Well, it's just
like-
happened. So
Well,
on the
that
race
has just
suit
happened,
next
Papa.
year.
That was orchestrated. You
No.
thought for that.
No. We expect on your race suit, instead of your name, you have a slice of pizza and the Papa next to it.
But you know, I've never eaten a pizza.
Doesn't matter. That
Have
doesn't
you
matter.
had
believe
Whoa,
you've
whoa, whoa,
never
whoa,
had
whoa,
Never
whoa,
eat
whoa.
a stop.
Can we
Before
just
go
shut
any
everything
further.
down?
Yeah.
and that's not
Stop.
because I'm a health freak.
Stop
it's nothing
talking.
to do with my body or anything like that.
Mikey,
You just
you
don't
have
like
never
pizza.
eaten a pizza.
Never.
I don't
Can we
eat
get a
cheese.
slice of pizza?
Hang on. Yeah, but well, hang on. You can have pizza without. You can just do like the base.
can
with
take the cheese
tomato
off.
So
sauce.
it's just garlic bread, isn't it?
So you've had garlic bread.
Yeah,
So you've sort of had pizza then, in a roundabout way.
the same shape, but I don't know if it qualifies.
Can we just? Sorry, Alan.
No,
I realise
you
we've
doesn't
no,
like
no.
cheese.
We've
This is
tightly
a-
cut-
That's
this is a
basically like
major.
driving my Honda Civic Type R on the road and say I've driven a touring car. It isn't, is it?
No, I think that's
No.
added. So I've just realised you can't say that.
I
So
don't- I
Alan
don't
will have
know
to
you
work
can't.
his
I'll have to
I
magic.
edit
don't think you
that
can.
little
That,
Well, who's the
that'll-
F1 driver that got
that'll-
done for that?
That'll probably
Yeah,
get
I
cut.
think the problem is on the PAs outside.
Yeah.
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 And
yeah.
also-
yeah, it's all right.
It's literally
There's no one
broadcast to
here
thousands.
because
Alan, I feel like you should have known really beforehand with Dan in this
this was gonna be-
podcast that it really should have been no further than us five.
We're also going off
Yeah.
topic. You've never had a pizza.
That's weird.
And I never will.
That's really.
Why
What
not,
if it
Mikey?
doesn't
Is it something that you have against the idea of all of that dough and why not? Why not?
No, there's no roots to it. You ask the chefs at Power Max Racing. It's the bane of their lives. You know, all of the time they come out with a lunch, and then I'm like, great, I can't eat that because it's got cheese on it. So turn around.
Why don't you
I
So
need
you just
something
don't
else.
like cheese, or you're
allergic?
No, I
lactose intolerant.
sincerely don't like cheese.
I'm-
It wouldn't even.
Okay.
I'm
Wouldn't
not
even
far
make it
behind
past
you.
my tongue.
I don't eat a lot of cheese. I'll eat it on pizza. I'll have it on jacket potato, and that is it.
What
I will
cheese
not-
experience do you have?
I would never sit there and eat
How much
it.
cheese have you tried? Have you gone for like a mild cheddar? To
I
an
always
extreme?
remember when I was at primary school and you're sitting there having lunch and the teachers, even if you didn't like the food, they'd always make you try it because they'd say you'll be hungry later. And I had the tiniest little bit and I wanted to just curl up in the corner.
But the cheese
and
world is massive. You can try brie, camembert.
you would never. I
Stilton.
wouldn't last
How
very
old
long
are
in
you
Italy.
now?
Yeah, how old are you?
How old are you?
Very personal question.
25.
25, and
that
you're
all you
basing
are?
your whole experience off of
Jesus.
once at school, at primary school. You
And
didn't
also,
like
it wouldn't
it.
have been very expensive cheese.
Sorry.
You're basing this whole thing off of I didn't like it at primary school.
No, but sometimes.
Well, you are.
Sometimes
That's what you said.
you'll grab like a a chicken wrap or something when you're abroad and you can't read the writing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that doesn't have cheese in it. And then you take a couple of bites, and you're like, yeah, I really don't like it.
I think that this is the content people want. If I'm
The
honest,
Kwik Fit BCCC podcast, sponsored by Cathedral City.
I had all of these notes for this podcast, and we are now 5
They've all
minutes
gone.
in.
Yeah.
And pizza and cheese.
It's a hot topic.
It's
a hot topic.
It all started by trying to find a nickname.
I'm
for
quite
me.
hungry.
That was good, wasn't it, actually, for me?
That was good.
I could do with the pizza right now. Should we share one?
I
Do you know
think
who
we've all
couldn't?
made ourselves slightly hungry now, to be perfectly honest.
Anyway, so let's just recap, because we started on this journey.
Yeah.
This is a nickname journey.
Yeah.
We all have one. He
Yeah.
now is known as the Papa.
Yeah, you see, I'm not comfortable with that.
Why?
I'd like to change it to be a Domino's based pizza.
Oh, because you prefer Domino's over Papa
well, no,
John's?
you see, I've always, because I do Tin Top Tuesday
Yeah.
on a Tuesday,
Domino's
and Domino's
special.
do 2 for Tuesday.
Yeah,
I always thought that would be good alliteration and a great fit for me.
Mikey,
I'll go
two
with
bowls.
I'll go
two
with that
bowls.
nickname if I can have a seat in the Napa, because then I can be called the Napa Papa.
That's good. You can have my seat as long as you can pay for it. Not bothered.
He's good, isn't he?
He is very good.
Does that sound like a fair trade-off?
Absolutely. You're more. I don't enjoy it anyway. I'm only here for the lols, so you can just drive my car.
So have we decided
And the
Mikey
money.
now has a nickname?
Yeah.
Is the
that's
nickname going to stand? What's the nickname?
Napa
No.
Papa, because he's coming to Napa Racing. You heard this exclusively here.
Okay, very good.
We'll get
I-
some stickers made.
Okay, I'm going to pull this back to the halfway season because
Yeah.
I'm very keen to get your own
I nearly
assessments
did the
of
Nigel
your
first.
own first half of the year. So what did Tingram just say?
No,
Nothing.
This is going to be
nothing,
really
nothing at all. No,
I
no.
can tell this
No,
is
it
going
was
to be
good.
difficult.
It was fine.
Okay, so I need your assessments. We'll start with Dan. We'll go round the sofa.
Yeah.
Cozy on the sofa, isn't
It's
it?
lovely.
Yes, says
Is
Dan
it a child's
Cabbage.
sofa? Are we saving on VAT or something?
No,
here?
it's,
Yeah, it must
no,
be.
it's absolutely fine. So yeah, maybe even a mark out of 10 for your first half of the year.
We've had a shocker. It's been horrendous. So probably
I think we should grade
a 1.5. What was that?
I think we should grade each other's.
Yeah, okay.
No,
No.
that is coming.
Oh,
That's it,
okay,
that's it,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
sorry.
that's it.
Okay, I'll give myself a 1.5 out of 10 for the first half of the year.
Stop it. Not
No, we've
for,
had a
no,
terrible-
because you've
no,
had
it's
highlights.
been
That's,
awful.
you're too harsh.
There's been no highlights. It's been awful, the whole thing. So
1.5 out of 10.
yeah, it's been terrible. Which is, the older I get, the more I realise you can't stress about stuff because things go wrong and you can't control certain things.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I am obviously bothered about it because it makes you look a bit of a tool. But apart from that, I can't change it. So we're just going to have to crack on in the second half of the year and make some progress.
So if you give yourself 1.5 out of 10,
Yeah.
how would you rate Tingram's first half of the season?
It's a good 8 there, isn't it? It's a good 8 out of 10, I'd say, because he's right up there. I think Dan Cam's probably the most marked man on the way through in the last 3 rounds. He's really worked hard and just had 3 good weekends on the bounce. But yeah, Tingers, if I had his first half of the year, I'd be sat here with a bit more of a smile.
So you rate Tingram an 8 out of 10. Is that accurate? Is that
8.5,
fair?
8.5.
8.5.
I would take the 8.5 and accept the 8.5 and run with the 8.5 for myself as well.
Would you accept the 1.5 for Robert? Is he being harsh
I
on
don't
himself?
think so. No. I'd personally gone for half.
Thanks, Ting. Thanks, mate.
No, not at all. I think he's been very overly harsh on himself. I think it's very difficult actually from when you're self-analysing to always go lower than you actually think. But actually, it's been tough this year because it's been as Dan's proven that actually it's just a case of consistency, a case of consistency everywhere. And I think Robo's been on the wrong side of the luck on certain times. So it feels like you have a bad weekend. And the other thing that you have to remember with this championship as well, it's quite fickle. If you have a good result in race 3, the whole weekend feels fantastic, weirdly.
Yeah.
You could have had a non-score, and then you win race 3, and actually, it's been
The last person
fantastic.
that won, yeah.
Whereas actually, it can be the other way around. You could have had a really good race 1, a really good race 2, and then had a bad race 3, and it feels like you've had a bad
you are
race
only
weekend.
as good as your last gig.
And
So
that's
Correct.
how it feels. So I think he's being harsh on himself there. So I think it's one of those that it's a difficult championship because it's constantly a case of based off of your last race. From my side, I think we've been okay. I think we've been consistent. Similarly, we've not had quite the luck. A couple of calls that I've made incorrect. Tyre choice at Snetterton when it rained. We had the puncher at Brands Hatch. we've given a handful of points away. There was an incident at Thruxton.
Yeah, let's not talk
when
about
I won a race.
Two nemesis sat next to each other. There's going to be a fight in a minute. I can
Shan't
feel
go
it.
on about it anymore, but it was utter rubbish.
Dan Cam's fuming. Look at his face.
What's
Raging.
interesting about that is that I wasn't nowhere near going to win anyway, so it didn't matter to me.
No, exactly.
BMW might have been a bit
true.
more upset than I was. I was quite, for those that are listening and wondering, it was the Thruxton race 1? 2?
2.
I don't know when it was.
Race 2.
1?
It was race 2.
Okay.
I guarity it.
Anyway,
It was-
you made a split decision,
Race
came
2.
through the chicane, and to be fair, I said over the radio, surely he's going to give that back. But that was the last of it. Ultimately, I went on to finish third, second. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't going to make much difference to me at that point because I certainly wasn't going to win. Tom deservedly drove down the road. So, as I say, the one winner out of that was probably Jake Hill. And I'm sure BMW was saying...
He's had a couple of little wins like that this year, hasn't he?
He has indeed.
Do you remember when Bobby Thompson gave him 4 points for free at Snetterton?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We're going
happened.
very off topic there.
Ooh.
We're getting quite
Let's not
controversial
talk
now,
about
aren't
that.
we?
That's controversial. That's
Are we
a
not
taboo.
allowed?
I think it's taboo. I don't
Are we
know.
not allowed to talk about the 3 points that the 3 points that they got for fielding Bobby Thompson? We're not allowed to talk about that.
Nope.
Okay.
I wouldn't talk about that. No.
Red Arrows.
Red
I
Arrows.
knew we were going to be
Look at that.
competing
Red, white,
against
and blue.
the Red Arrows. I
Saw
knew it was
those at
going
the
to be
Grand Prix. They get around, don't
a
they?
little bit tricky. But how many places in the world can you record a podcast and the Red Arrows give you a little flyover? So
Fantastic.
3.
that's British Grand Prix,
Yeah.
Here
Goodwood Festival of Speed,
and the Red Arrows base.
and the Red
Yeah,
Arrows
that
play.
was a good
Probably.
Very
I don't
accurate.
think they'll use a smoke at the base, though.
Do they not?
I don't think they use the colours there, no.
They will
Oh.
do.
Do you
They
reckon?
will do. Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Why?
Robot, who did you
So-
just
so
nerf
Tinker-
off there? Was that you, Mikey?
On the big
think
screen right now for the viewers, they've got the most horrendous shot of me drilling Mikey Doble.
Is that where Huff got robots?
Is that the one where my
Yeah.
rear wheels are off the ground?
Yeah,
That
I
was
loaded you up good and proper, but in my own defence, I did make a mistake and end up on the grass. I
And
thought
Tom
you'd
Ingram
move
wins.
and you didn't.
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah, that's Tom Ingram winning a race.
The chubby cheek wonder.
What? That's not fair. Ash isn't here.
I suppose we shouldn't talk about him like that, should we?
Just to describe this for our listeners, we have 2 absolutely fantastically huge television screens
Yeah, absolutely.
on the stand here at Goodwood this year.
I think they're doing it because there hasn't been a lot of action this year. So when I got into the back end of Mikey, and you'll have to edit that as you see fit, it was a good viewing. This is exciting, look.
8.5 out of 10. You're going to go with that.
Yes, I'll
Tingram,
go with that, yeah.
and you're happy with that.
Yeah.
Dan Camish, you have been on quite a run in the championship. You are really properly on a streak. What would you give yourself?
Probably somewhere around 7.5 and 8. I don't think it'd be too bad. I've had a bit of a similar sort of season that you could say to Tom. I haven't won as obviously. I'm not in no way, but I have come quite good these last few rounds, and I've been consistent. And the things that have gone against me have kind of been a little bit out of my control. Getting it all wrong on the tyre choice at Donington, which we're watching now on the TV when it rained in qualifying, and then having a puncture the same day Tom did at Brands when I was going to, was in the hunt to try and win that race, just getting behind Colin in P2. So the points I've lost haven't, not really down to anything I've particularly done. And since then, the last 3 rounds, I've caught up quite nicely. So if I was to, my own performance, I think it's been pretty strong.
What did you say, 7.5 or 8? Yeah, let's go with 8. Let's have a nice optimistic feel. You'd go with that, Tingram?
I'd go with that, yeah.
Agree with that, yeah. Dan is properly on a run. Now, the clue is in the question, Mikey Doble. If you are as good as your last gig,
Papa.
what would you give yourself out of 10 for the season so far?
It'd have to be 9.5, wouldn't it?
Do
if
we
it was
go
a
with
half
that?
a
Do we-
point
do
for
we
every
say
position.
If we're based
Doble?
off of our
And then
last performance, I'd say so.
Yeah.
based off being as good as your last gig, I'm technically the best driver out of the 4 drivers sitting
not
here.
wrong.
So
That's actually a very good point.
It is a very good point. It's a great, I'd agree
And
with
you're
that.
currently the fastest on the simulators.
and I'm the fastest
He's
front wheel
currently
drive
fast on the simulators. I
runner as
rage
well,
quit.
so-
I'm going to have another go later.
I need to describe to people what we've got. We have a number. We had them last year on the Kwik Fit stand. We have a number of really very, very good simulators, and it's going to get a bit competitive with the BTCC drivers over the course of the next 4 days. I take it you've all had a little go on the simulators at this point. Mikey, have you you've topped the times, have you?
Yeah, I mean, I got on it before these guys turned up, so they knew where the bar was. And it hasn't moved by the looks of it, so they're all fallen a little bit short.
I crashed on my first flying lap because I drove the Brands Indy circuit. Turns out it was Brands GP.
It is definitely Brands GP, but also he had the advantage of a nice, quiet working environment. We had people constantly in our ear, ask us what you're doing, is this where you break in real life? So it was quite a challenge for the three of us.
That was just me, I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
That is a full, proper simulation.
Sound. Can't... I need to concentrate. I couldn't even see the shift lights, so it's just not well set up cockpit for me.
I seem to remember you having a difficult time on the simulators here on the Kwik Fit stand last year.
I did win something. I won a couple of things, but there was.
When you were on your own, you were quickest.
Absolutely. Before the crowd turned up, I was magic.
When it was just you won.
Do you know what? If I speak to Alan, right, and I think if I could have a race for myself, I could probably win the BTCC. Do you think?
No.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. That's very good.
Something would still go wrong for you, I'm sure.
Okay, so basically, as we look at your half-term reports, Mikey Doble is very much out of the four of you on top.
Fully support
Papa's
that.
Papa's on top.
The Papa's going.
Papa's on top.
The Papa's going.
I love this. You need to change your overalls, Mikey, before the next round, which is
we're going to have stickers done. I'm
Croft.
on the phone to Andy Bell immediately.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, get some stickers made up. So this time last year, the two Dans, only Dans, and I, for Kwik Fit, recorded a podcast. I think we went on too long. Because
why?
So we actually clocked in at 2 3/4 hours at the end.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Tigram is giggling.
And that's just the content that was that the content that was usable?
It was.
Because it was more like 5 hours with 2 hours.
We had a
45
lovely
of
lunch
content.
afterwards, didn't we?
Beautiful, yeah.
It
We
was
had a nice time.
fabulous.
It
yeah.
was.
Lunch provided?
No.
Is there lunch provided?
No.
So yeah, I think the edit took a little bit too long, and by the time
They're still editing now, is that what you're
by
saying?
the time the edit was complete, and we'd actually completed the season, so
wow.
our podcast from last year never saw the light of day. So we need to keep this as
Under 2
succinct
hours.
as we possibly can.
So basically, don't spend the first 10 minutes talking about Mikey Doble's cheese choice.
Yeah, so we have. I nearly said wasted 20 minutes talking largely
we messed that
about
up then, didn't we?
about Mikey Doble's nickname. But I do want to know what you guys do during the sort of the weeks that we have off. Were we attending the British Grand Prix last weekend? Was that something that you did, Dan Rowbottom?
We are still. I think Dan Cam and I are still probably drunk from Sunday. Everything's been a blur this week. It's been it's been a hard work. We did attend. It was great.
So what is the British Grand Prix for you, Robo? Is it?
It's a drinking exercise for you, isn't it?
It's a drinking exercise.
It's like a stag do for you.
Yeah, it was like a stag do. Yeah. We may have found a hospitality band late on Sunday, so we thought, well, we'll have a few red rosé wines on the house.
Okay. Because I know who you found it from as well, and they were furious.
Yeah, I'm not bothered.
Oh, very good.
It's fine. No, the Grand Prix at the BRDC is amazing. We all get together. We secretly all hate each other, but we don't really. And it's just an amazing time to catch up with everybody. It's ace. We didn't see a single lap of Formula One.
I was going to say, do you get to watch
not
the
a
race
single
or
lap.
not?
I was there from the Wednesday afternoon. Didn't
because
see a
you'd
single.
passed out by then? Or?
No, just because we just think, we could go to there, but it's really nice here.
Just having too much of a good time.
Yeah, great time. And then we actually got VIP tickets, courtesy of my old teammate Gordon Shedden, which was very kind of him, to Mahikis, on the Saturday night. So we attended the nightclub as well. It's just a great weekend.
Tingram, you were at the Grand Prix, were you?
I was, and I was teetotal.
See,
professional athlete, and
you are a fitness guru.
Yeah, I am a professional athlete. And because I was driving in, so I had some Heineken Zeros.
Nice.
Actually,
it tastes great.
Actually, quite nice.
You're not really a big drinker anyway, are you?
I don't dislike it, but my problem is what I am is a waste of blood and guts when I'm hungover. I don't do hangovers. I am useless. Keep drinking, yes.
No, gin and tonic, because
that makes me just vomit profusely.
If you try the flavoured ones, because you're hydrating with the tonic as you're becoming
No, well,
a bit
I can tell you now that doesn't work for me.
Okay.
It makes me very sicky the following day.
Vodka and tonic.
Nah, I think it's just the quantities of.
Just tonic.
Yeah.
That would probably work.
That's some lovely
that
flavour.
would work. No, I enjoy drinking. What I don't enjoy is being hungover.
being
No.
Because
poorly,
honestly,
yeah.
I am
I'm the same.
useless.
Yeah.
I am so bad. Laura is. Oh my God!
Wow.
Did you see that?
I did see that. That was
Laura is an animal on a hangover. Like
Is
I will
she?
be there, just vomiting profusely into a toilet, and Laura will just be like, "Shall we go?"
Amazing.
No, absolutely
Amazing.
not.
Wow.
No,
Amazing.
absolutely.
Wow.
So I did partake in the Grand Prix. I drove in and out.
Staying at home. So,
Staying at home.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I only live like 40 minutes away, so it was not actually
Yeah.
too bad. So that was good. And then Festival of Speeding. I'm actually racing a Citroen C1 next weekend at Snetterton.
fantastic.
Are you really?
I am C1ing next weekend.
That
and
sounds
then,
great.
And then what are we doing after that? Well, we're crofting, aren't we?
Crofting.
We'll be into it.
Back to the job. After
Back
that.
to the job. Back
Restarting,
to
as
the,
Dan Cameron said.
back to the day
Not
job.
with restart.
Was Mikey at the Grand Prix last weekend?
No.
Why are you leaving your friend
watching-
out of this? Why did you not invite Mikey?
Because he
Doble
never
along?
brings any pizza with him.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a
good point,
great.
my mate.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
point.
You do
Great
pay the price ultimately for being a fussy eater.
You do. That
do.
is it.
Yeah. Do you go to the Grand Prix, Mikey, or not? Or not?
I've been once, but I'm not as privileged to have the snazzy tickets to go in all of the roped off areas. Not that that would stop me from going, but it would just mean that I've got to
You
pay
won't
like
have if you keep getting
Robotham will nick
podiums.
your
I
son.
would have to pay like probably
I bet.
£3,000 or something to go there for the weekend if I wanted to
You've
just
made
pitch
friends
up.
with the wrong people. Robottom will sort you out. He
I can
sorts
hook you up.
everybody
He'll
out.
just
But
nick
you're
some off
assuming
someone
that
else.
you're
Yeah,
assuming
literally.
that I'm his friend.
That's rude.
Have you two bonded today?
I think so.
I think you have.
I thought it was just normal standard banter, but he's got a sinister look in his eyes.
Sounds like he's still bitter about Donington, if I'm honest
I
with you, mate.
feel he's
That's
bitter,
what I
but
think's gone on there.
ultimately-
After you fired him off,
I can't
ruined
help
his
that I'm
day.
not that talented. I try. I do try.
I need to also ask, are you engaged politically? I mean, we had a pretty big event just about a week ago.
I'm out.
General election.
I'm not getting involved in
I
that.
don't want to get involved because my views will get me cancelled.
No, I don't want to talk about your views, but I just need to know, were you engaged in it? Were you interested in it?
No,
Not
because
at
they're all liars. So whatever they say to you,
Doing it, you're getting
I don't
involved
care.
in it.
I've done
Don't
it
fall
now.
for the trap.
I don't care. They're all liars. Doesn't matter what they say. It won't happen. And in 5 years, when they've done nothing they said they do, they get voted out, and some other twazzock will come back in, and then that's the end of the UK, isn't it?
I knew if I put the bait down, he'd
I
get
can't
me.
help
So he
it.
couldn't
I
help
can't
himself,
it.
could he?
No, but
No, he
in
can't
seriousness,
help
they
himself.
are all liars, aren't they? There's not a straight.
I really
They
enjoyed.
can't sit down
You know
on
what?
this.
I actually really enjoyed the Grand Prix. I think it was a great day. It was great to see Lewis take a victory.
Very good.
Massively overdue as well.
Very good.
Nice to see a sort of a home win. George getting pole as well. Couldn't ask for any more, could you?
You have a
No.
political career waiting for you,
Yeah.
Tinker, and that was
He does, 'cause
expertly
he's a liar
avoided.
as well, so that's perfect.
Absolutely superb. The only reason that I asked the question was that I work on the general election for television.
Did you?
And,
Who did you support?
I
That
did.
sounded like an unnecessary flex, but
Yeah, it did, yeah.
So, but I have done for years. But it's not an unnecessary flex because this year I covered myself in
Glory?
butter.
everything but glory.
Oh, really? Did you?
Because you have to stay up overnight. And I was working on sound
Okay.
for Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrats,
Okay.
his count. So when the count was announced, I only had one job. It was to convey to all of the television channels the words of the returning officer, which I did fine.
Yep.
I did all of that bit okay. I pressed the right buttons, everyone heard it. And then there was an interview with Ed Davey, who was the winner of this particular count. And I pressed the wrong button and pressed the mute button rather
Amazing.
than the go live button.
I
Amazing.
remember seeing that all over Twitter. Everyone was going mad about
They
it,
were.
weren't they?
Yeah,
It's
no,
Lib
they
Dem.
were.
Who's head
Did
of
you-
sound?
did you
I
say
was a
Lib
bit
Dem?
sleepy.
Well, that's okay.
Things
Things happen, things go wrong. I don't think anybody missed it though, being Lib Dem, so it
I
doesn't
was,
make
I
any
was
difference.
sleepy.
So
It was 4 o'clock in the morning, for
It's fine.
goodness sake. Well,
No one cared about that.
cares?
then.
So
Who
you
cares?
don't expect to be invited back then?
no, no, it was absolutely fine because I realised my mistake quite quickly when I heard nothing coming out of his microphone
Yeah.
and corrected my error.
Do you know what? The older I get, the thing I learn about life, you can cock it up more than once, and
Yes.
you can fix it. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
have another go.
Exactly.
Because every
right.
day you wake up is a new opportunity. I should write quotes.
No, you shouldn't. Please don't.
Philosophical
There'll be those kind of
quotes.
quotes that end up on people's kitchen wall.
Yeah, or on a bumper sticker.
A philosophical outlook.
If no one else was on
from Robo.
circuit, I would have been pole.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, mate. That's great.
If only,
Yeah.
if only. Goodwood Festival of Speed, it is an absolute mecca for fans of four wheels, two wheels, power, everything about it. Robo, how long have you been coming to Goodwood Festival of Speed?
If I'm honest, it's only like the third time.
You're a fresher, aren't you?
I'm pretty fresh. It's still as tiresome as it was last year, and we're on day one. I have been here since Tuesday, because I had the job of collecting a car for MG from central London, and I got here to what only could be described as the trenches in World War II. It was a mud bath.
Yeah, it wasn't good,
So
was
my
it?
race shuttle is somewhere in car park D. I got it as far away from the mud as I could, dragged it through, and then I proceeded to get my tow car stuck a little bit. Then I covered another car in mud, getting it out. I did get it out, of course I did. I'm a professional driver. And then, yeah. So I can only say this event is incredible. But like, if you could have seen what this was like, the scenes of this, you
Yeah,
genuinely thought you'd walked into a war.
We can all remember last year.
Horrific.
When we couldn't
horrific.
come here on Saturday because of
Cancelled,
the,
wasn't it?
But yeah.
because of the weather. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we all got a day off.
But in
didn't
terms of experience, it's I think it is the mecca for petrol heads. You know, I mean, I looked over at the Lazanti stand earlier. Some of the stuff on there.
Are you allowed to refer to people as petrol heads? Because there's electric cars. There's all
Politically
sorts of,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
see, if you
let's
refer
not
to
talk
some-
about that. Eh?
We have to talk about if you like.
There's lots of different
you could
genders
you
now.
Could be
Maybe
you could be a milk floatist. You could be a
Yeah.
petrol head.
Yeah.
So
there's all
what
sorts.
would you
Yeah.
be happier if we called everybody motorheads, which
No,
has other
gearheads,
connotations?
but there's no
Yeah.
gears in a lot of cars now. Direct drive, electric cars. They've ruined that.
They've all
Great.
got motors, though, haven't they?
They do. You could call them motorheads.
Motorheads.
Yeah.
Are you an electric car fan?
No, I would literally.
Have you guys driven
rather-
electric cars yet?
Driven a couple. Yeah, I don't. The instant gratification is quite good.
Yeah.
Fun off the line. You know,
Yeah.
you can. They're very quick, aren't they? 0 to
30,
0
yeah,
to
they're
40.
really quick. 0
It
to
feels
30.
quite. It's almost like being on a bit of a fairground ride. It's quite good fun. When that wears off, you know, ultimately I'm still like petrol, but
Yeah.
I understand where we're all heading.
What about Mikey?
I think if I lived forever, I'd be the last person on planet Earth still driving a petrol car.
I'll tell you what I did
I can't
see.
stand the concept.
I know what I was going to ask you. This is a serious question now, because you're involved with motorbikes. Are they going to go electric? Is there going to be an electric? Is there going to be an electric thing in bikes? Do you think or not?
So, the electric bikes that are out now, they either do about 30 miles on the battery, or they're about £35,000 to buy. And I don't think when you look at what £35,000 or thereabouts can get you on the petrol market for a bike, you're talking
Oh,
about the top
You
end.
get a really nice
Or
monster
you can have
Ducati.
a bike that no one can hear, looks ugly, and will probably do no more than about 80 miles on a battery. So I
the
think
car,
that...
the car equivalent, then basically you're talking about that's the same.
yeah.
But
But I
must be
think
so fast though. An electric motorbike must be
I do think that
outrageous.
electric cars give away a kind of impression that they're very disposable. Like they look good for when they're brand new, but it's almost like in 3 years' time they're ready for the bin.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
I
just-
think
yeah.
as far
That
as
is, that is one of the things I do like about the whole electric car thing is they actually do look quite cool. They do.
But they've got
very
big.
techy,
They've got
aren't
big.
they?
They are
They're-
massive,
everything's
massive
big now.
old things now.
What happened to hot hatches?
Yeah. So going on to brand actually, have you seen the Hyundai Ioniq?
Yeah.
N
Yeah, but it's electric.
Yeah, it looks mint, doesn't it?
yeah,
Actually,
but
It looks
it's
great.
what you said about hot hatch.
Yeah.
Hot hatchy kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
still a big old thing.
Yeah, big unit,
They look.
big fella.
the gearbox they've got in that looks quite clever.
Yes,
The
I'm
way
not- I'm-
have you had a go yet?
No, yeah, no,
It does look good fun.
no, I haven't.
Yeah.
But they actually look quite cool.
They've
You just-
artificially put in basically by the tech they've got, you can, it will hit the limiter, even though it's technically not limited. It just lulls you into thinking
Just
you're
a
still
gimmick
driving
thing.
a petrol car. Well, there's no gear either. It's just doing it off software basically. So, but everyone who's driven it's given it a really good review actually.
I had from Bristol Street Motors the standard Ioniq.
Oh yeah,
5.
you did, didn't you? How was that?
I actually liked it, apart
But-
from if I was doing like 45, 50 miles a day.
Perfect. Here we go. Big plane.
If I was doing like 45, 50 miles a day, like perfect. You get it when it's winter. You turn the heating on, it's instantly warm.
Yep.
They're really comfortable to drive. But if you're doing like long distance motorway stuff, it was a bit of a nuisance, if I'm honest.
So now you've got a Defender.
So now, yes,
which is very nice.
I went the opposite way.
So really, it's just the moving on of technology, isn't it? In 10 years' time, that annoyance for a long journey will probably not exist.
Yeah, but then we go down a whole another political.
I was just going to say, politically, do you remember when they told us all to buy diesels?
I
and now they
remember
go,
it well, Dan.
oh, that's dangerous. Can't do that for all the young children. Well, I reckon EV cars will be the same. Because the government, as I said, haven't got a clue and they're liars. So
The
it brings
good
us all
news,
back full
Robo,
circle.
The good news is that you haven't taken the bait to be drawn into my political
it's
discussion
great, isn't
today.
it?
This
Well,
is
it's a very-
So
It's a
you're saying you're not a big fan of the electric cars then?
No.
Who are you working for this weekend?
MG. But that's besides the point. The people that pay my wages, Cataclean, we create a fuel additive which goes in petrol and diesel. So long live it, please. For a very, very, very long time.
He's not just a pretty face, is
I'm
he?
not.
No, he
I'm
really
very
isn't.
clever.
He's not, you're right. What?
So with this
Dan
mecca
Cameron.
for motorheads, there you go. Have I taken care of that? Where would you make a beeline for, Tingram? What would be the one stop that you would like to see at the Goodwood Festival?
I'm always towards the race cars. Sorry, the road cars are cool.
Formula
but-
One cars,
but
or
there's, I'd have to go and see cool stuff. I'd have to go and see cool cars. But there is.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard that.
That
That was an
is
electric car
that is-
wheel spinning.
No, it's a 3-rotor. That's probably Mad Mike. That's amazing.
Okay.
That is a dream. Did you not hear that tone?
no, I
See,
heard
that-
it.
oh,
I
oh.
heard it. Yeah.
Mate, don't get me onto rotaries. I will have an accident in my pants.
When
I
the
love
Mazda
rotaries.
won at Le Mans,
Yeah.
the marshals on the previous post used to have to shout out Mazda to warn everybody on the next
Because of the
post.
noise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Listen, can you hear it? Is that high-pitched squeal?
I could just hear you talking.
Thanks.
Which is also high pitched, sorry. I love you, really.
And
Come on.
will
Don't look
continue
like
to
that.
happen, Dan.
I
It
know.
will continue to happen. So
I would follow the noise.
Yeah.
I would follow the noise. Anything that's giving off lots of noise, I
Yeah.
would tend to go towards. that.
Formula One cars, saloon cars.
Yeah, exactly.
NASCARs,
That generally,
anything.
generally race cars would
Anything.
be my thing. Road cars are cool, but race cars are cooler. So it's you just go to those.
What about Dan Cam? What would you make a beeline for?
Oh, you know what? There's so much to see and do here. I was saying earlier, I think this is about my 5th visit now, and I think I've seen 10% of this place. So I'm hoping today to get a bit of time to have a good look round. But yeah, I mean, some of the race car stuff, especially stuff that you can't see much of, maybe some of the older stuff that's come over from America. I quite enjoy seeing the drift cars. You know, when the guys come over from Japan and things, they put on such a show, and they've got so much skill. I mean, they're just having a load of fun, and the crowd absolutely love it. So, yeah, road car wise, I am a big road car fan. But to be honest, I'm more a fan of the stuff that I might be, I wouldn't say affordable, but maybe achievable.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't tend to go looking at the real high end stuff because unfortunately, I'm not quite there. But you know, I enjoy to see a nice new hot hatch. Maybe like the BM stands with the new M5 on there and things. You know, something that's a bit more that you're going to see every on the roads.
We share a common dream, don't we? In terms of cars, one of us is going to bottle it, and one of us is going to be first to buy one. We both want Alfa Giulia Quadrifugo.
We do.
In the dark red, with the black wheel and the yellow brake caliper.
It
That
has
thing
to,
is sex on wheels. It is amazing.
It has to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much
It's got a little Ferrari V6 twin turbo. Rip the cats out. It won't pass an MOT, but I didn't say that. The noise is amazing.
Poor old Tingram looks confused by this, or pained. Where is Mikey Doble going to make a beeline for at Goodwood Festival of Speed? What would?
I mean, similar to Dan, I always get attracted to the NASCARs. I mean, I've always been a big fan from a young age. So they're cars, iconic cars that I've seen on the telly for so many years, but it's happening so far away from us, and I've never been fortunate enough to go to an event. So to see the cars over here going up the hill or in the paddock is... What, am I boring you?
No, sorry.
I've just been listening to you for about the last
it's just
35 minutes.
I've got
been zoning out.
27,000 messages coming in from MG, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. I'm sorry, Mikey. Keep going. You're not boring me. I multitask all the time.
It's definitely race cars for me. Like I say, a lot of the road cars, I don't really pay much attention to the latest latest models and that are coming out. So yeah, they're nice to see and that. But when you see a car covered in stickers and flared arches and that, that's proper.
What do you drive? You got a Type R, haven't you? Have you got
the FK8?
You're still in the FK8. That's a great
Does the
car.
number plate give it away at all?
Have you not tried the FL5 yet? The new one? No.
I was just talking to the guy down there, and he basically, in one way or another, said it's not worth the investment. It's like pretty much the same car.
Well, I don't know.
Great salesman.
It's pretty good. I drove
I hope
one.
he's not on commission, that guy.
Cataclean brought one straight. Well, the owner of Cataclean's a big motorhead, so he brought one immediately, and I drove it. It's a really good product. It is a good product, to be fair.
I think like the FK8
Is it worth the change? I don't know.
certainly looks more racy than the FL5, which is the new car. Like all my family that have seen or friends that have seen my car, all two of them, it's kind of like that car is.
It's a bit out there, isn't it? When I was, I had every colour going when I was at Honda for those few years, which were great, and it looked good in all colours actually, and it was a great bit of kit. I remember. It was also the time I'd go in a few of the hot hatches, and Hyundai had just brought out the N version of the i30, and where the Honda scored was that it was so composed, and it was fantastic at everything it did, but it was almost very serious for the road. Like you had to drive it. I don't want to say too quickly, but it was so good on track. It was almost you couldn't do that on the road, so you could never really get to the bit where it really shined. It was just brilliant at everything. Whereas I remember when I jumped in the Hyundai, it used to pop and bang, and it was really good fun at slow speeds. It was just like a bit of a thug, really. A bit why I like my M2, BMW. It's really good fun, just kind of tootling around town. Whereas the FKA always feels like it's ready to hit the track and go 10/10ths, which you just can't do these days. So
I think the problem is the condition of the roads in this country are not set up for having an FK8.
Not ideal, is it?
He's going to get
Don't
start
back.
Rose, we'll get
I'm
political
back.
again.
I mean, the
back.
FK8, the profile on the tyres is about 3 mil. So if you hit a pothole, it's like the suspension's going to poke up through the bulkhead. I mean, it's like the most uncomfortable thing to drive.
Not a problem you suffer with the Defender.
Nope.
You just aim at them.
No potholes there.
Enjoy them.
Don't even notice them.
Yeah.
I want to have a little tally because we're at the halfway point in the season. This is our half-term review. I'm just reasonably keen to find out how many times each of you have visited the hallowed turf of the upper level of the Toka bus over the course of the first half of the year. So,
You have a loyalty card, haven't you? Once it gets stamped 8 times, you get a free.
You get free coffee or something.
I've got some trivia. I have got some trivia. There is a driver on the grid currently.
Yeah.
That has won the award for the fastest ever strike given in a season.
Okay.
It was me.
Right.
Race 2 at Donington when I fired Mikey. I was given a strike for that, which I think was vastly unfair because it was through lack of talent why it happened. It wasn't deliberate. It wasn't malicious. But Aaron Taylor-Smith, your teammate, pinned Sam in the wall and didn't get penalised, which I think is overly harsh on the Napa team, if I'm saying.
You have skillfully avoided the question. How many visits this year?
I've not been in the last 2 events.
Okay.
But the first,
You made up for it in the first 3.
the first 3 events were quite horrific. At least twice a Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. Well, not all my fault.
Okay.
Mainly my fault.
Tingram?
He's been there a few times.
He's just
I
adding
have
up.
weirdly been up at quite a
You
few
have.
times.
Yeah,
You
I
have.
know.
It's because you got a target on your back, mate. Sorry to tell you.
I think 5.
5 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm only at 6.
Yeah.
So
5 times.
we're
I
equally
think
naughty.
5, yeah.
Dan Cam?
None of them my fault. Just
0, I
just-
think, this year. I actually went up once last year, and it was at the last race. It was the last race of the season, so the 30th attempt. I
Did
got
you fire him
called
off? Did you do it?
I don't think I'd done anything
I
really.
think you did.
I just got caught up in something else, and I just got told that's fine. So, yeah, I'm not doing too bad at the moment, but you never know. It could always. I've had my fair share. I mean, I think I'm probably the only guy sat on this couch that's been fined multiple £1,000s over my first season. So
Does that come out of your pocket? Is that
it
your
come out of my
money?
pocket? Yeah,
Your
it
private
did,
money?
absolutely.
My first 2 years were horrific for headlight
Were
fines.
they?
2021, I had to pay headlight fines multiple times a weekend.
I
So
went
just
on holiday,
forgot.
I think, on the amount of money I'd
But
given
actually,
him.
ironically, 2021 was when I was good. So I reckon paying Alan a little bit of money every weekend is not a bad way to go about your
It's
motorsport.
worked for me.
Yeah.
I won a championship off it.
Absolutely, right then.
Mikey, your little tally of how many times you've been to the top of the
I've been to the bus once, but it wasn't really anything to do with me. It was almost like moral support for my teammate who don't know if you watched qualifying at Thruxton, but he kind of come back to the pits from his little accident out the back.
Yeah.
Kind of like, so I'm the only driver on the track. I can just zigzag my way back across while there's cars passing him at like 130 mile an hour. But that doesn't matter. And
With
they just reminded
with no wheel on it.
They just reminded me that I overtook someone under yellow flags. Jake Hill, actually, you sort of slammed the brakes on because I had my headlights on, even though we were in a yellow flag
he's good
zone.
at
And
that.
I just had to say, yes, well, I didn't want to slam the brakes on in the middle of a corner
Should
because
have
in a
fired
front-wheel drive car, that will not end
Should
very
100%
well.
have fired him.
I fired him.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's why you've been up the bus 9 times.
No, only 6.
6 times this year.
I think it's 6 times this year.
Yeah,
I think it's 6.
6
That's okay.
The reason that
They're not all my fault.
No.
So it's probably 2/3 my fault. So 4 out of the 6 were on me.
I always feel really awkward because I use the office to the right of the
I'm always
stairs
in
as
there.
I come up. And I hate to say it, this year you have been there
I
quite a
know.
lot.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can get an award, like end of season awards. We got the winner, we got Jack
Yes.
Sears Trophy winner, maybe fastest lap winner, and then just most naughty.
What
of
were
the
those
season.
2 awards Gow
Just
did
give it
for
to
me in
Dan now.
21? There was 2 additional awards, if you remember.
Oh, one was for wearing your race suit when you got married.
No, I didn't do that. No, I
and
didn't
we
do
had
that. I didn't do
photographic
that. I
evidence
didn't
for
do
that.
that. So
And we
this,
shall
so this
continue to show it on the...
this is all Tom Ingram's fault.
Yeah.
Because that's how
Look,
Alan
you're
got the
giggling away.
photo.
It
So
is my fault.
there is going to be some recompense before I retire, which probably won't be long away the way
It
things
is
are
my
going.
fault.
It is a great photo.
There
It is
will-
a superb
it's a-
photo. It's one of my favourite photos I've ever seen on the internet.
So,
Yeah, thanks, mate.
so now is the time for you to put the record straight down. You
Yeah.
didn't actually get married in the
I
suit,
didn't-
or
no.
so you claim.
No. I have other photographic evidence to show I didn't do that. What I did because I thought it was cool is I thought, I'll
You
get
thought it was
some-
what? Did you say you thought it was cool?
Yeah, the only one who did.
No, actually, I thought it was slay. Technically, that's a new word that Gen Z use. Slay,
Yeah.
Well,
living
don't-
rent free.
Don't you use it.
No,
Because my toes actually curled when you said that.
well, when they were explaining what they meant, there was a young lady explaining these things who is Gen Z, and I said, when I used to slay, it was very different to what you mean. Do you know what I mean?
My toes are still curled.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I don't know where we're going with this. I don't care. I've lost track.
What
So-
generation are you then?
But you did get
I'm
married in
millennial.
your suit.
You're
No,
millennial.
I didn't get married in a race suit.
No.
But there is an right. The picture would dictate that potentially I could have done.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I've got much more class than that. Fact.
Go on.
That's it.
You're done.
I'm done.
You're out.
Yeah, I'm out. But I
Okay.
am more classy than that for sure.
Okay. Well, we
Yeah, I
love
promise.
showing the picture. I'm sure for every token
There was
dinner
another
that we
award.
have.
There was another award from Alan. There was 2. There was one for that, and there was another one. I can't remember. It was quite offensive.
Yeah.
What it said on the
would be
little
offensive.
plaque.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
That would be the only reason that Alan Gow would bring you up.
if you remember, my speech was great because I'd been on the gin, and I hammered.
Standard. God, there's a
Hammered.
common theme that we've discovered across this
hammered
podcast.
Michael
isn't
Crease
there?
in my interview. Do you remember?
I do.
I said this is a very prestigious award to win. Jack Sears Trophy. There's some fantastic names. I even pulled you out first. So Dan Camish on here, Ash Sutton's on here, and the one and only great Michael Crease. And I got a stand-up ovation. So I think that was a good speech.
I'm not sure you'd had quite as many alcoholic drinks as
Dan Lloyd,
Dan Lloyd.
He did have an enormous incident, didn't he?
you found him.
I did.
You trod over him
I
and
did.
left him.
No. I scooped him up.
Oh wow.
You collected him.
What was this at the weekend?
He had no Toker Awards last year.
What we shouldn't do is talk about it, though.
Why?
and certainly not on a podcast
Not
or
on
a
in
podcast.
public domain.
Essentially,
Exactly.
for the audience, he had a big shunt, fell down some stairs, could have been quite badly concussed, and you scooped him up, didn't you, mate?
I did. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
are.
true what they say about me. I'm actually a nice person.
It is a lovely thing that you did, and you made
Thank
sure
you.
that he
Thank
was
you very much.
safe and well. We are drawing towards the conclusion of
thank God.
of our half-season review of the Kwik Fit half-term report.
Have we got
for
time
the
on this? How long have we been
BTCC?
going on this now? It's not the 2.5.
So 45 minutes thus far.
Oh, that's okay.
which
So
is
we've
good
done
news.
45 minutes, and I reckon what 4 minutes of it has been actually
There will be a
But
couple
that's
of
what
little
people
bits.
want
About-
to
about
hear.
the actual
That's
season.
That's what people want to hear.
There were-
20
there-
minutes.
there
so
on
a
the
10 minutes
subject
about cheese.
of
Do you-
him
do-
not liking pizza.
It was on my list of things to ask. Do you all listen to podcasts? Do you have in your mind an idea of what makes a good podcast?
I do like a podcast.
Do
My
you?
personal thing is
What would be your thing?
Well, what I liked was watching them.
Right.
in between watching the Tommingham 24/7 series on YouTube, which I must say is a fantastic watch. If no one's ever watched it, it's
good.
a great watch.
It's a bit boring, but it's good.
That would be my. But no, I found a hack that if you turn your phone sideways, it shows.
Spotify does
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite like watching them. You see.
Yes.
I like the Diary of a CEO. I think they're quite good. The old Stephen Bartlett ones, I quite like those.
They're good.
However, I have
Rogan.
found, and I'm going to show you this. This is fantastic, and it is called. I don't know. I think it's because I'm showing my location. It is called Real Survival Stories.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Heard about that.
It's very.
What's this one about?
All morning, gusts of over 80 miles an hour have been battling.
He's got like that narrating voice as well.
It's very
Good
dramatic.
narration
It's
voice.
very
I could
very
do that.
dramatic.
I listened to one
beautiful.
about a family
we're
lost at sea. Have you heard that one?
Oh.
Then they survived like a month at sea.
Oh, what's
or
it called?
That's on this. That's
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Real
cr-
Survival
yeah.
Stories. That's
Unbelievable.
my.
No, they
They
survived at sea.
and they had to
Their boat
eat.
sank and they survived
They had
for
to
like
catch
30 days.
sea turtles.
Yeah,
They
it
had to
was
catch sea turtles and eat them.
The endangered species of
Yeah,
sea
that's
turtle.
why they're all endangered, because they're out there for a week.
Amazing.
And ate them all.
What about Mikey? Does Mikey listen to podcasts? Is this something that features in your day-to-day life?
I don't
Just
really
say
have
yes.
time for that, to be honest. I'd say if I was, what I'd like to hear out of a podcast, I like ones that stay on topic. So I don't know if I'll be tuning
You
back
were really-
into
you
this
were
one
listening to
too
this one,
much,
That's
but
such a dig. He's such a professional. It's
No, we've all had a
unbelievable.
rap over our
He's been
knuckles
throwing
for that
so
one.
much shade today.
He
I don't
has
know what's
been-
going on.
Let me tell you, it's
The irony.
I might be back in the bus at Croft.
I'll tell you what.
No, we won't be.
Battle
We won't
lines
be.
have been drawn today, that's for sure. So the final thought that I need from everyone is thoughts on the second half of the year. We go to Croft, we go to Knockhill. The first half of the year was pretty flat out. Two weeks. We're now going to be doing the same. Before we know it, the season's going to be over. We're going to be done. We're going to have a new champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for BTCC with it being so frantic at the start of the year is it's intense, you know. And I think the fans enjoy that. I'm not sure we do. It would be nice to have a little bit more time. Some of the guys that are working on the cars for sure need a bit more of a break. You know, there's a big turnaround, especially when you have a bit of a shunt. So, but yeah, second half, it gets going at Croft, doesn't it? Croft is going to be good, I think, for us. It was good last year. There's
We
no
hope.
guarantee,
We hope,
but it was
yeah.
very good for us last year. Knockhill, place I think we all love, don't we? We all love driving
New
Knockhill.
curbs again.
New curbs. They've changed curb again.
Apparently so, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if
so
Ash
Gordon
can
says.
Ash can cut the chicane
they've been asked-
completely
they've been
for
asked to do
qualifying
it.
or not. That'll be interesting.
Chicane.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic run of circuits coming up, and as always, the BTCC will keep it really, really, really exciting to the end. So for me, it would just be a case of restructuring everything. We may as well write this year off in terms of any end of year desires. We are, we're sat P12 in the championship, but ultimately the reality of that is it's only 6 points from P6, I think, or P7. So it's not going to take much of a race to change things around. So we could probably leave Croft P6 in the championship, which would be great, and then just ultimately get our get. I've got a new engineer, so we've got to get everything sorted for an attack in 2025. I love the championship and I want to be in it for as long as possible, but I don't want to be in it and just drive around. I've missed a lot of my daughter's. Well, she's 3.5 now, which is amazing, but I've missed most of that because I've been putting so much effort and time into this. So I've got to make sure that sacrifice has been worth it. Like I'm here again, 3 weekends on the road now. We did Glastonbury, working for Lotus, then the Grand Prix, which is a holiday, and now we're here, 1 week off, and it's back to Croft. So I'm missing so much of her, which I'm okay with, but there's got to be some success to justify it. So yeah, I want to stay in it, but if I'm not getting what I want out of it, then I'm quite happy to go and be a dad. So yeah, we'll see.
Tingram, you're on an 8.5 for the first half of the year. Planning on upping that?
Yes, is a simple answer. I think as we've spoken about earlier on, and making sure we stay firmly on topic, so Mikey Doble listens to the podcast. I think we've got to make sure that we make sure that we're consistent every weekend. We're not getting carried away. There's still a long way to go in the championship. Like you say, the difficulty that we've got is if you have one bad weekend, it's not just a case of a bad weekend. You've got to then pick yourself back up, recover from the downtime in between the two races. But exactly like we said, with them being such a tight turnaround, it's actually been really good for us all to slow down a little bit, not least for the teams as well, just to take stock of things like little bits and pieces that as drivers we don't ever think about. Spare parts, bits and pieces. So actually the season comes at you so thick and fast that you go through your reserves of front bumpers, rear bumpers, sills, wings and all that sort of stuff, that actually you need this mid-season break just to try and get on top of everything. So it's a good time to take stock. It's a good time to see where we can improve in the second half, because everyone will have taken a step forwards over this little summer break. So we've got to make sure that we go with that as well, and just keep going with it.
Dan Cam, as we said, you are on a roll already to continue the roll.
Yeah, that's my plan. That is my plan. You know, as Tom was just saying there, I mean, everyone's going to come back refreshed and looking forward to the second half, hoping they can either right some wrongs or continue as they are. But it's a tough championship. It's very, very close. The difference between having a great weekend and a merely good one is very fine. Yeah, I mean, it has been. I mean, I'm actually personally enjoying the sort of the way it's set up now. You know, it is difficult for the guys. You know, they were looking forward to a break. You know, when you think they've built the cars over winter, we've gone pre-season testing, and then we're pretty much straight into racing. We haven't stopped since. I think for us as drivers, what I like about it is that good weekend or bad, we're straight back into it. You have one weekend off, recover, and you're back. So you either carry that momentum or you get a chance to right some wrongs. You know, I can't wait to get back in, and hopefully I can keep moving forward. It's, you know, it's a tough grid. There's some really good guys up and down. Like I said before, I think in the Q&A earlier, you know, you think you're having a good weekend, but there's other guys scoring just as well. It's really hard to catch. You've got to be consistent. It'd be really good to win a few races. I think what's shown is how, you know, you look at where Tom is right now with Hyundai, where the BMW is. I don't think we're going slower. I'm sure they've caught up because, you know, as a team we've won one race. You know, last year we'd won multiple by now. I don't know how many, Tom. 4? You on 4? BMW about 7, I think, between him and Colin now. So, you know, and we've got 1 between all of us. So I don't think we're the fastest thing in the place like we have been, but we're going to work hard and try and come back. And yeah, we are now going to Croft, which was very good for me last year, very good for the team. It only takes one good weekend and maybe one drop of the ball from some of the others, and I can find myself back in. And then it's just a matter of staying somewhere near for the end. I want to be in that final. I said it before, but it's always, when we get sort of to the tail end of the season and they start taking the photographs for who's going to be in the final, you want to be called up into that.
You want to be in that picture.
You want to be in the picture because then you know you've got half a shot. And, you know, I'm determined to make sure that I'm at least in the first few pictures.
Top man, Dan. And Mikey, one step more. Presumably that's the challenge for your second half of the year.
Yeah, story of my life, really. Yeah, I mean, selfishly, Jack Sears Trophy, I just want to... I think I'm 51 points over Ronan now. You know, I think he's had the pace, he's had the car. I think that it was all set up for him to go and blitz it this year. But let's say we've just been picking up the points, hoovering up the trophies, and I just want to continue doing that in the second half of the season. So if I can get to a point with like 2 rounds to go where I've pretty much won it, you know, barring a disaster, then I can put my focus towards the independents and concentrate on beating Aaron race by race, because I've got to be careful how many risks I take against him without screwing myself over in the Jack Sears. So Jack Sears and independents title would be ideal this year. On the team's perspective, I think if you had Aaron sitting here, he'd probably say that we're going to go out and win every single race, win the teams and win every prize going. But I'm a realist, and I think the car is fantastic at the moment. It's better than it was last year, and we've got it into a window where you come in and you're struggling to fault it, but that's good and bad because you look down the times and you're still half a second off people that have got no hybrid. So I don't know what's left to come out of that car, really. I think the team are great and getting it competitive, because this year at the front especially, the grid has got a lot faster and more competitive, but you know, the Napas and the BMWs and Accelerate cars, they're just so damn fast. And they just seem to have a little bit more, I think, unless me and Aaron are just horrific drivers. But it seems that we're always a row apart, or within a tenth or two of each other on the grid. So that's normally a good indication that we're kind of operating at the max of what our car has. But sometimes that can be 12th, 13th, sometimes that can be 8th, 9th, and I think it was great to get that result going into the half-time break of second and third. I mean, that's the first double podium the team's ever had, my first ever podium in the championship, and it couldn't have come at a better time, really. So yeah, I mean, I think we've got a little bit of work to do if we're going to actually contend at the front in races 1 and 2 and put in some decent qualifying times. Where that's going to come from, who knows? We'll just do our best, and yeah, we'll just try and keep finishing the races and pick up the points where we can. I think this year the racing's a lot more strategic, so with the tyres and the top 10 in race 2 having to use the hard tyre, the hybrid, it gives you more of an opportunity as one of the independent cars to still have your moment of glory like we did at Alton Park. But yeah, can only do the best we can.
Mikey, good luck with the Jack Sears trophy, because of course there are illustrious names on that trophy. Dan Camish, Ash Sutton, Dan Rowbottom, they're all there on that trophy, so good luck with that. And thank you
Michael Crease.
And Michael Crease, thank you very much indeed.
Well, he was racing on the Formula 1 package, so obviously he's exceptional.
Absolutely.
I'll set them up, you knock them down, Robo. There we go.
Yeah, listen, mate, we've got a good little tag team going on.
Guys, thank you very much. We've been given the wrap-up signal, so we've got to finish. There are loads more things happening today on the Kwik Fit stand here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. But for our very first, this is our first official half-season review podcast for Kwik Fit.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much indeed. Dan Rowbottom, Tom Ingram, Dan Camish and Mikey Doble.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.